at Travelers Trust High School, and I'm here to give my testimony, talk about how I came to Christ. So I was born in a small town called Batesburg, Leesville. It's right next to Columbia, really small, a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing. It's really fun. Everybody knows each other. I don't remember much. I did grow up in Batesburg, Leesville United Methodist Church, but we moved when I was 4. So I don't remember much, but when we got here, we decided to make our church home Travelers Rest United Methodist Church. And I loved it. I grew up in a Christian home. Everybody there was so nice. My neighbor was the pastor, Jonathan Tompkins. He was great. He answered any questions I had. Now granted, they were like pretty silly questions. I was 10 years old. I was like, so did God make dinosaurs? What's the deal with that? So it was just great having someone to ask questions whenever I wanted. So I grew up in a Christian home around Christians, and I always knew Christ. I always knew who Jesus was. I knew he died on the cross. I heard something about him walking on water. I thought that was really cool. But I don't think I ever had a relationship with him. And that's kind of where I started to question, well, who really is Jesus? Why does everybody keep praising him? Why I hear his name in every conversation. And something about me is, me and my brother are very different people. I always wanted attention. I was the class clown. In 3rd grade, I literally won class clown. Not my proudest moment, but it is an award. So, and my brother won most likely to be president. So that's, it's kind of very two different. I question if we're related sometimes. But 8th grade, there's a class called Confirmation you take at the Methodist Church. And it's a few weeks, and you learn who Jesus was. You learn how we should be Christians, how we should represent Christ. Not just, being a Christian, going to church and saying, I love Jesus, but actually showing other Christians what it means to love Christ. So I did this few weeks of confirmation. I was confirmed in the Methodist Church, and I felt like I had done something, but I didn't feel complete. I didn't feel like I truly, not accepted, but have given my life to Christ. I think there's a big difference in believing in Jesus and giving your life to Jesus. So I never had one moment where I was like, okay, this is it, I'm a Christian. But I think it was a lot of little things combined to really confirm that, like the Methodist Church does. So even after I was confirmed, I wouldn't say I'd given my life to Christ, like I said before. I've belonged to an 8th grade Bible study. A lot of people in here probably know Will Snipes. He leads Blue Ridge and TR, and he does such a good such a good job. And he really led me more towards Christ. Again, I'm taking more of a walk instead of a leap, I like to say. So probably freshman year, I was right there. Like I'd still sinned and I didn't care. Like I would sin and I'd be like, oh, well, Jesus forgives me, so it's okay. And I was playing football and I had a torn ACL. That was the second one in 2 years, and I was heartbroken. Football was my everything. I played JV, punter, receiver, linebacker. I know you've never heard of a punter and linebacker, me neither, but it's JV football. So anything flies in JV football. But when I tore my ACL, I was crushed. I didn't know what to do. So instead of going to God and asking, what should I do? How do I come to you in these situations? I just blamed him. I was mad. I was like, God, why would you take away the thing I love the most? And it made me quickly realize, well, why do you love football the most? Why don't you love your family the most? Why don't you love me the most? I think that's what God was trying to tell me. So I continued to argue with God. I continue to rebel against God and say, you're the reason I tore my ACL. You're the reason all these bad things are being taken away from me. And I'm not sure how, but some way, somebody led me to the book of Job. And that's my favorite book. It's really hard to read. It's a lot of reading. And if you've seen my English grade, you know I'm not good at reading. But I'll read Job any day of the week. That's such a good way to trust God. And I want to read Job 38, verses 4 through 9. This is God talking to Job after Job had been through the worst things you can imagine. And he finally rebels and lashes out on God. He's like, why are you doing this to me? So God takes him around a little tour of what God's life is like. He's like, you think your life's bad? You got to see what I deal with. So God says to Job in verse 4, where were you when I established the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who fixed its dimensions? Certainly you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? What supports its foundations? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Who enclosed the sea behind doors, when it burst from the womb, when I made the clouds its garment, and total darkness its blanket? That hit me. That was, like I said, I didn't have a moment of becoming a Christian, giving my life to Christ, but that hit me in such a deep way, where I was like, okay, God knows what he's doing. This, I got to trust God. I got to put my faith in God. So that's exactly what I did. I'll tell you this. Time flies by with knee surgery, especially if you have someone to rely on, if you have someone to fall back on. Rehab was so fast, and I thank God for that. The first few months where I was debating God, I was arguing with God, felt like forever. A month felt like a year. And once I finally said, okay, God, this is where I give my life to you, things just, like, the weight is taken off. So since then, I can't explain how blessed I've been. This Bible study with Will Snipes, 8th grade, 30, 40 people, a lot of guys. This is Blue Ridge. He has one for every grade level at Blue Ridge. And each grade level gets 30, 40 guys. It does so well. But when I go to TR, I show up, and it's at Snipes' house. And I walk in, and I see Snipes, and there's like 2 kids on the couch. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, I said, where's the food? Because that's my number one question anytime I walk into a room. And Snipes was like, oh, we'll go get Zaxby's after. It's so much different. And so there was 2 other people there. So there's 3 of us. This was my freshman year. And I don't know how, I don't know why. Well, I might know why, but God has expanded that group from 3 people to 15 to 20 every night. And that's just confirms, or not confirms, but makes me that much more reliant on God, that much more trustworthy in God. Because now I can finally see how he's been working. And then I look back in my old life, or I say that like I'm 100, but I look back in my younger years, and I'm like, oh wow, God blessed me then too. So I've learned to never question God. I know this has turned into like some sob story, but I just recently had knee surgery again, and it was just a meniscus this time, but gosh, it still sucks. I do not recommend tearing your meniscus. It's not fun. But this time I was, obviously you go through those trials, and it's hard and it sucks, but God's got you. God's got your back. And this time it was so much easier, coming up on full clearance in about a month. And like God he's so good. So I guess the biggest takeaways you can take from my testimony is God doesn't care about your attention. God doesn't care about what you want. God knows what you need, and He showed me that, and that's how I came to Christ. Thank you.